Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports. Today, this episode is remembering Lubrock. I decided with the announcement of Lou's recent passing that I would go through my collection and try to select some things that I have never shared on this channel before that maybe I thought you might be interested in. And the item that you see in front of you, I actually just shared a few weeks ago on this channel. So that is probably one of the very few items that you're going to see in this video that you've already seen before. So I tried to go through my collection. I grew up outside of the St. Louis area, so a lot of these things have actually been in my collection for close to 20 to 25 years, since I was about 10, 12, 13 years old. So I've accumulated a lot of Lubrock items throughout my life. There's a lot of availability, so to speak, where I live, and I just wanted to share those with you and try to remember the great Lubrock, as this is the Remember the Greats channel. And one of the things that I wanted to achieve was showing unique items that you don't see every day. I'm sure there's a lot of Lubrock videos that are going to be shot or that are going to be posted that are going to just show, some trading cards and that type of thing, which is totally fine. But if you've ever watched my channel before, you know how I like to show unique items of athletes and sports related content, not just trading cards. So I'm going to do that with Lou. There's, like I said, some previous items I've shown on some other videos, like the Lubrock poster that I once shared. So if you definitely want to check out those videos, definitely look in the link below. Also, the video with this card right here, I just showed this right off the bat as kind of a place setter to, set the tone. In addition to that, with the passing of Tom Seaver last week, I decided while I was going through my collection looking for Lubrock items, I was also going to do a small video on Tom Seaver in a similar fashion. However, I'm going to tell you that video is going to be a lot shorter because I do not have a lot of Tom Seaver items that are unique outside of trading cards, which a lot of people have. So I'm just going to zoom out so we can get a better picture of things here. And got my chair in the background there, but that's okay. But I want to kind of set the tone because I'm going to share a lot of items with you, and I'm just going to kind of show them off. But one of the items I wanted to show was a Lubrock Bobblehead, and this was actually a giveaway at a minor league baseball stadium, I believe a couple seasons ago. And as you can see, it's got a nice, great picture of him on the side here. There he is stealing bases. And here on this side are all of his, sorry about the glare there, all of his achievements throughout his career: 3,023 hits, all-time steal leaders at retirement. Of course, Ricky Henderson broke that, on down the list. So I just wanted to share that with you. I have never taken it out of the box. I still have it sealed in the box. I can't remember if I have a second one of these, but I think I do. So maybe one day I'll open that up and look at it. But for now, we're just going to let Bobblehead Lou sit in the background. We're going to talk about some of the other items in the collection. So we're going to start out with, this is a unique item that I think is really cool because you just don't see it every day because he's more known as a Cardinal. But this is a PSA graded Lubrock. And I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see it a little bit better. But a PSA graded Lubrock, baseball's greatest hitters autograph as a Cub. And a lot of people that are watching this video may not realize that Brock actually started out as a Cubs player. And it is actually, the trade to St. Louis has gone down as probably one of the most lopsided trades in baseball history, along with Milt Pappas for Frank Robinson. And this, I saw this autograph a little while back on eBay, and this might have been before I started my channel, but the TCMA set came out in, I want to say, 1982. And you can kind of see it in that bottom right corner there. Sorry if I get a little blurry. But in '82, they came out with baseball's greatest hitters, sluggers, and pitchers. And for whatever reason, they chose to show Brock as a Cub, which is kind of unique. So I picked this up really cheap, with the PSA grade on it. And, I want to say 15 bucks, somewhere in that neighborhood, which was a steal because you just don't see too many Lubrock autographed Cubs cards. So that's why I have these set up back here. Hopefully I don't knock them all down while we're doing this. Now the next item, this item I picked up for like $1 or something like that at a card show. And this has been years. And this is a signed Lubrock team issued postcard. And as you can see, the autograph isn't the greatest. There's actually a tear right there on the card. And it was like $1. And I'm like, well, for Lubrock, I'll give you $1. So I picked this up really cheap, but there's a pinhole in the back where somebody probably had this hanging up on their bulletin board or something as a kid when they were growing up, and that's why it's kind of messed up a little bit. But for $1, what the heck, I thought. So we'll put that. I'm trying to lean these so they don't all fall over because that one's kind of a little odd sized. So that one's pretty neat. Now this next thing, these are kind of unique, and if you're from the 1980s and 90s, you remember these. And this is a signed Z cachet, or cash, I guess you would call it. And these are simply just envelopes. And what they did is they printed these images on the envelopes talking about significant feats. And this one commemorates his 893rd steal, which at the time was the all-time record until Rickey Henderson broke it. And they would get a postmark on there along with the stamp, and then they would typically get the athlete to sign them, but not always was the case. But I picked this up a little while back. I actually shot a video showing off a lot of these, and I just haven't posted it yet before Brock's death. But you'll be seeing this probably again, a very unique item to have in my collection. Alright, well that one's not going to be sitting up there, I guess. So, anyway, so another unique item. Now this next thing, we're going to talk a little bit about trading cards, but we're not going to get too crazy about them. This is actually a replica of his 1962 rookie card. And if you look in the bottom left corner, this is actually signifying the Fan Fest, I want to say the 98 All-Star Game. And also on the back, you can see that it's numbered 1 of 5. I'm guessing a promo card. Maybe Brock was at that All-Star Fan Fest would be my guess. But I don't have his actual 62 Topps rookie card. But when I was going through my vintage cards, even though this really isn't vintage, I thought this was unique enough to pull out and share with you because this is probably the second best you can get to getting his rookie card, and the fact that it's a reproduction and it's pretty spot on. So very neat to have that as well. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so I don't have to hold stuff up now that you've seen the background items there. And we'll just keep moving on because this one is a real tiny one. I'm going to have to hold up to the camera or zoom in. Now this next item I'm going to show you is unique because this is part of a set per se, and it is from 1969, and it was made by a, I guess, novelty company, and this is unique because this is actually a card, but this is actually a piece of paper. And I picked this set up not too long ago, really cheap. I mean, this is a collectible that, very affordable for the era. And I picked this up, and as you can see, there's nothing on the back because they're supposed to be used as playing cards. And when I showed them to my father, he actually was like, oh yeah, I remember those. They used to sell them at like gas stations, and places like that. And he said they used to have celebrities on them, musicians, stuff like that. So this is the uniqueness of the set, that this novelty company made playing cards, but they're not really playing cards because they're paper more or less. And these are not that collectible right now. And I feel like this could be a very collectible set to collect because it's really cheap. So keep your eyes open for these sometime. They have them all over the internet, so pick one up if you can. All right, so this next item is unique, and some people may remember these as well if you collected in the 1990s. And these are albums, so to speak, but within the album is a autograph from the Treat Company, and it is certified by Brooks Robinson, who was their spokesperson. As you can see, he's Treat spokesperson, saying that this is authentic. And this is actually an Upper Deck issued card that I think might have been in packs, but I'm not positive. And this was available for purchase at Walmart, of all places. So back in the day, you could actually go to Walmart and purchase these albums with these repackaged cards. They also had some signed mystery baseballs, I remember that. But imagine today, if you could go to Walmart and buy a Hall of Famer's autograph for like $10. And I regret not buying more of these when I was a kid, but I picked this up a little while back. I haven't had this one as a kid, but I plan on doing a video sharing with you the rest of these in my collection sometime, so definitely stay tuned for that in the future. All right, sorry about that. We had to adjust the camera a little bit so we could get that in the frame. Now this next item is a team item, and this is a signed plaque, and you can, or facsimile plaque. And if you look up there right at the top, there's a nice little Lubrock signature at the top. And this is kind of one of those unique collectibles. I bought this probably over 25 years ago. And when I ordered it on the internet, I remember ordering it, I thought I was actually getting a larger plaque. And then this showed up in the mail, and I was highly disappointed, I guess you would say. But I've had this in my collection ever since. I'm not really sure what year this is supposed to be of the Cardinals, but I do know that Lubrock is on there. And I thought this is kind of a unique collectible with Lubrock that you just don't see out there all the time. All right, so these next items are kind of unique, and I'm just going to go through them really fast because they're unique, but they're not super rare or anything like that. And again, these are just things that I've kind of collected over time. And this first thing is a Lubrock 8x10. Nothing special about that really. Just it's an 8x10 that I picked up that I've had in my collection for a long time. I never got a chance to get it signed. I never, got the opportunity to do that. But I did get his autograph on a different item. We'll talk about that in a second. This unique item is from 1999, and it shows its age because there's like a state, it's like been waterlogged, so to speak. And this is actually STL Cardinals magazine from 1999 with Lubrock on the cover. And I've had this magazine since 1999, I think, because like I said, it's gotten wet. It's been highly damaged. At one time, I think I tried getting this signed despite the damage on it, but Lou didn't sign it for me at one of the times that I saw him. To take a step back, I actually saw Lou 3 times in my life, and I got his autograph 1 time out of those 3 attempts. So, pretty nice. I think I had this in my hand one time when Lou didn't want to sign for me, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Now this next item is, I actually have 2 of them in here. And I'll show the first one and then flip it over. This is a 75 Cardinals Yearbook. And then you can see Lou in the top left there. And it's actually signed by Al Roboski on the cover. And I got Al to sign this in person once when I saw him. But that's not really the big part of the Lubrock discussion, because on the reverse side, the 1977 program actually shows him on it. Which I always thought this was a unique item. I picked this up at a flea market for a couple bucks, under $5 I want to say. And if I were ever to see Lou again, this was the item I was going to ask him to sign for me, other than the 8x10. It's just never worked out that way. Finally, this item was free, if I recall. And this was a pretty cool, unique regional issue of Lou, probably out of the St. Louis area, when he got his 3,000th hit after he had 938 career stolen bases. And it looks like something that maybe like a sporting goods store or something along those lines promoted. And if you look really closely here, you can faintly see the autograph, and I'll zoom in a little bit for you. But the autograph is pretty much non-existent because of the pen that was used. You know, that was before the era of Sharpies, but that autograph is actually there. And I was at a card show once, and this was one of those sellers that just has tons of stuff. And I said, what do you want for this? He's like, take it. I don't care. So I literally got it for free. Now, the final item I want to share with you is something that I've had for a long time in my collection, and there is a little damage to it because I never had a holder to keep it in. And that is a Cardinals all-time greats 3,000 hit or strikeout autographed photo. And in the top right corner, we're going to focus on Lou more than we are Stan. I actually got Lou to sign this first, and there's some damage up here on the photo. It's kind of hard to see because it's dark in the background there. But because this is an oversized photo, I never had anything to keep it in. And I remember I somehow managed to damage it before I got this top loader. Now, after I got Brock, I actually got Stan to sign this in person. And as you can see, that Stan autograph is not his prettiest one. This was kind of a rushed Stan Musial. It wasn't at a sit-down signing. It was, you know, on the cuff, so to speak. I believe I got this signed while he was sitting in his car, of all places. And I was at a ball game once, and him and his handler agent came out, and they said, well, let Stan go to his car, and he'll sign one for everybody. And this was the item that I stuck in front of Stan to have him sign. But this isn't about Stan. And finally, Gibson did not sign the photo. This is always something that I've regretted not trying to get signed. Now that Gibson is also in poor health, I doubt I'm highly going to be able to do that. But in closing, we're closing in on 20 minutes here. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. As I mentioned before, I'm going to do something with Tom Seaver. With all of this stuff, I knew that this video was going to be kind of long. So I really appreciate you taking the time to remember Lubrock, as he was one of the greatest baseball players ever. And of course, one of the greatest Cardinals ever. Please comment below. Tell me which item that I showed off today in this video that you liked the most. Thanks.